And hello again, everybody, and welcome to the GAP, the Get Attitude Podcast, The Gap, bridging the gap from who you are to who you want to become, and from where you are to where you want to go. My name is Glenn Bill, founder of the University of Attitude, keynote speaker, and author of the ABCs of Attitude. I've been fortunate enough to help tens of thousands of people find and get attitude, and this podcast will help you get yours. So let's get some. So happy to have everybody in here listening. I want to say hello to all my gappers. Please, if you can, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It's so important. Wherever you're seeing this, that you share this. We are on every social media platform, and our podcast is on every podcast platform that you'd ever want to know. So please keep subscribing. Please keep rating. Please keep reviewing as a favor to me, your host, Glenn Bill, at The Gap. We are going to introduce our third month. I can't believe I'm here with my good friend and producer, Jason Jolliffe. Jason, you say hello.
Hi, Glenn. How you doing, buddy?
Good, buddy. We've been through 2 months of this. What do you think so far? I think our results have been pretty good.
It's informative, educational, and really reconfirms what I've believed. And that's one reason I've always enjoyed working with you is I feel like our attitudes are aligned. I've always tried to have a very positive attitude, and I feel like I have a better life because of it. So I'm happy to work with you.
I like it. Well, we appreciate you doing. You do fantastic work for us on the video and audio. You know what? We do video for a reason, guys. We believe that video will help communicate the message. We believe that our gappers, those of you that are listening, we are involved in the Attitude Movement. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, Attitude Movement, and go to our Facebook page, University of Attitude. Join those up. We're going to be posting these podcasts to each of those Facebook pages. We're on YouTube as well. So follow us wherever you want, but if you can spread the word. You know what our goal is? We want to change the world one attitude at a time. And we believe that these podcasts are doing that. We know that they're getting traction. The feedback has been great. Please feel free to email me at gbill@universityofattitude.com. If you have people in your life or that you have access to that you want to hear on the Get Attitude podcast, we want to interview them. We are constantly looking for guests and talented people to share their insights on attitude, and people that have information and answers that can help you bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. We are on Attitude Booster number 3 this month, which is Believe in You. And one of my favorite podcasts, and I think when we look at the success of people and we look at the unsuccess of people that are not successful, the biggest issue that people face is this thing called self-belief. Do I really believe in me? We know that the 2 biggest fears that people have are, number 1, am I good enough? And number 2, will I be loved? We're not going to handle the will I be loved today. But am I good enough? Is that a question you ask yourself? I love this saying, which you've heard a million times. What would you attempt to do if you knew you would not fail? I mean, what would you really attempt to do? Is there something in your life that you said, man, I wish I would have done that, but I didn't? And I have a quote here that kind of addresses that. The great Mark Twain once said, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sail, and explore, dream, and discover. I don't know how old you are, but if you're my age, I'm in my 50s, and I think about, boy, if I would have done more at 30, what would my life look like? The future for your life is now. And the questions that you need to ask yourself are, what have I not done that I've been thinking about for the past year, the past 5 years, or the past 10 years? And yes, some of you have been thinking about doing something for 20 years, and it's never quite happened. So why is that? Well, it's this thing called self-belief and believing in yourself. And I know that a lot of people are saying, Glenn, I'm not sure how I can believe in myself. Well, we have some extremely good guests coming up on this month's podcast, some very successful people We have Susan McClain from the Natural Success Institute. We have Austin Larr, one of the highest producing loan originators for I want to say an $8 billion mortgage company at this point, Fairway Mortgage. Austin's going to share with us about what believing in himself looks like. And we also have another fantastic guest, Debbie Biery from EXP Realty, who does the Power Group, the Power Girls 5000. She's an incredible leader of women, and she has been through some adversity in her life, and her message on self-belief is truly inspirational. So our guests, when it comes to how do I believe in myself, they are going to provide answers. I'm going to tell you this. It's the same old answer, right? How do you believe in yourself? And what I always like to tell people is focus on your positives, not your negatives. There's things that you are doing in your life that are working for you right now, and you need to focus and expand upon them. I can tell you that focusing on what isn't going well in your life, focusing on what you don't have, what you don't feel you can become, that is not going to increase your self-belief. And so this month might be possibly the most important month of the Get Attitude podcast, because if you're sitting there as a gapper holding yourself back because of a lack of self-belief, the information that we're going to be giving you over the next 30 days is going to be, I think, invaluable, and I hope will help you to take a walk across the bridge from who you are to who you want to become, and from where you are to where you want to go. There's a lot of reasons that you want to create self-belief, right? There's a lot of reasons that you want to believe in yourself. Number one, self-belief makes you and others more responsive to your needs from the world. I think about salespeople mostly. You know, people are not willing to buy from somebody that does not believe in themselves. When it's all said and done, the confidence of a salesperson is probably the biggest determining factor on why people buy than anything else. And I would ask you if you're in the sales arena, and let's be honest, all of us are in the sales arena, no matter what you're doing. You might be a teacher, you're selling kids. You may be a doctor, you're selling patients. You might be a lawyer, you're selling clients. You might be in real estate sales, you're selling people that want to buy and sell homes. You might be in insurance, and you're providing risk protection. If you are not confident and you don't believe in yourself and or your product and or your company, you're doomed to fail. Three big things. Do I believe in myself? Do I believe in my company? And do I believe in my product? If you don't have a yes answer to those three things, you're going to have some trouble. But self-confidence covers up some of the technical sales, mishaps that you may have. You may be new in sales. You know, when I started in business, I was 19 years old selling real estate, right? And I always had a nice, healthy self-belief in myself. And if people looked at me on the face, young kid, not even able to drink, how is he selling so much real estate? It came from blind faith. It came from self-belief. Self-belief is transferable. And if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. And when I train salespeople, the one thing that I really try to work on is helping them to believe in themselves so that can be transferred, right? Attitude and belief, the key to sales, but it's also the key to responsiveness. See, people respond to people who are confident, to people who believe in themselves. If you are out in the world and you're not getting positive response, positive feedback, or sales, my guess is that it comes from your lack of belief. And so that's one reason that we want to hone that skill. The second reason you want to believe in yourself is that it stimulates you to take action, and it stimulates you to be persistent or to persevere. Attitude booster number 8 is love adversity, and I always say adversity is the mother of perseverance. Well, self-belief also creates the perseverant person. It's very tough to persist, to keep going back, if you do not believe in yourself. It's tough to take your first step. It is tough to take action if you don't really believe. So when I ask people, why aren't you doing what you know you should do? Why aren't you doing what your dreams are? Why aren't you even dreaming? Why aren't you taking action? Well, I can tell you it's that thing called fear. And that fear is am I good enough? Which is just what we talked about. If you're a person that has trouble finishing a project, if you're a person that has trouble staying on a task, if you're a person that just won't start to get action, it's probably a result of your self-belief. We are going to help you this week with different tools and answers and assignments that will help you increase your self-belief, that will help you take action. One very simple thing about taking action is, what are the 1 to 2 things I should do within the next 24 hours that could alter my life in a positive way? And do them, right? And believe that you can do them. Don't question it. Don't let your mind, once your mind comes in, your mind is going to sabotage you on what you can or can't do. There's a lot of people that were at the beginning of the new year, and they're like, I need to lose weight. I need to start working out, but they won't take action. That's a self-belief issue. We are here at The Gap to help you work on your self-belief, and I think our guests will do that. The other thing self-belief does is it really helps us create in our mind solutions for the biggest problems in our life. Again, we're at a time now where we're at the end of the year, the beginning of the year. People are setting goals. People are wanting to, get back in the gym. They're wanting to lose weight. They're wanting to alter their behavior. They're wanting to improve their relationships. None of that's going to work, right? Goals are not going to work, and Susan is going to talk a little bit about this. Goals are great, but goals without belief, they don't work, right? They're just dreams. Do you believe, right, in your goal? Do you believe in why you're setting the goal? Do you believe that you can really hit it? Do you believe that you're the person that should have that? There's an old saying, goals aren't about what, you don't set goals to get things, right? You set goals to become things, right? Or to become who you're supposed to become. Goals aren't there to give you what you want. They're there to make you who you're supposed to be. The problem with goal setting for most people is their beliefs, that internal belief. You can set those goals, but if deep inside you don't have that belief, then what do you need to do? You need to get creative. You need to be able to talk yourself into believing that you can hit that goal. That's what creative solutions are all about. Let's just take simply, I want to work out, right? I want to work out 5 times a week. But what do we say? We don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I need to be rested. There needs to be a more creative solution to that. And one way that you can create solutions is to say, what is going to happen if I don't do that workout 3 to 4 times a week? Well, we know that you're going to have decreased energy. We know you're going to have decreased focus. Your brain isn't going to work at the same level, right? So the bottom line is we need to create solutions in our lives and in our attitude and our thinking and our emotional attachment. And it all starts with that self-belief. You got to believe that you're worth it. You got to believe that the answer lies inside of you, and that the creativity really is just uncovering what is already inside of you. Self-belief also lets you see opportunities. I love this. It's called a scotoma. Scotomas are called blind spots. And if you've ever driven through the parking lot, and you always know the people that always find the spot right next to the door, that's because they don't have their blinders on. And sometimes we talk ourselves in or talk ourselves out of what we should or could do simply because maybe it's too hard, but it's just easier not to believe in ourselves. And we miss opportunities. Here's my challenge. I want you to get up and say, just like Lori Wilson did, everything is going to work out for me, right? Everything that happens to me in my life is meant to be. I know that the people I meet, I will make a difference in their life, right? These are mantras, if you will. I want you to start or bring up a mantra of self-belief, right? If it is up to me, right, it will be. What you will find is that you will be seeing more opportunities that come your way. Some people walk through life with scotomas. They have blind spots. And that's because of lack of self-belief. So what I want you to really focus on when we talk about the opportunities, is there a lack of opportunity in America today to create the life that you've always dreamed of? Of course it's not, right? There's plenty of opportunity. But the biggest reason people don't see that opportunity is because they don't believe in themselves. Believing in yourself, I'm telling you, will unlock 2020 to be the best year of your life. The other thing that believing in yourself will do is it gives you the freedom, right, to make mistakes. I love this saying. I saw it, Sean Parnell posted it the other day. It said, be brave enough to suck at something new. Here's my challenge to you. What are you going to do new in the year 2020, right? And are you brave enough? And you know, when you're brave means doing something you don't believe you can do, to suck at something new. That would be something I would identify. And once you identify it and you go, oh my God, there's no way I can do it, turn on the Gap every Tuesday. We're going to have 4 inspiring speakers and podcast guests that are going to give you real tools and answers on how to go after your goals, how to go after them with belief in yourself, but they are going to teach you how to be free of self-doubt, how to be free that if you screw up, it's not going to be the end of the world. You know, this thing called self-belief, I mean, those are 5 great reasons. Number 1, they make people more responsive to you. Number 2, they stimulate action and persistence. Number 3, they help you find creative solutions and open up your mind. Number 4, they help you see visions and opportunity. And number 5, they make it okay to make mistakes throughout the year. Now, some of you are going, Glenn, how in the hell do I develop my self-belief? And again, the Get Attitude podcast is the number 1 way to do that. We're on YouTube. All you do is go to the university or Glenn, or it's youtube.com/Glenn Bill Training, and you'll see all of our video podcasts there. You can go to any podcast platform and download it, which is what we really need to do. We need to get our numbers going. If you're somebody that would love to be an advertiser on our show, I'd love to partner with you and work with with me to get the Gap out there. But the bottom line is, what you're probably looking for is, hey, Glenn, all this stuff is good, but how do I develop self-belief? And I can give you a few tips for that, which I think I'll do right now. Number 1, which you're going to hear from several of our speakers, is stop comparing yourself to others. You know, the number 1 way to kill yourself and to kill your self-belief is to start comparing yourself to others. You compare yourself to others, let me tell you something. You're always going to come up a loser. There's always going to be somebody better than you. One of your pledges for the year 2020, I hope, is only compare yourself to yourself. Try to become 1% better each and every day of your life. And you do that, you're going to be 300% better than you were the year before. So if you're a person that sits there and looks at other people and focuses on what you can't be, what you can't do, and what you can't have, that's not going to build your self-confidence. Let's start focusing on what we can be, what we can do, and what we can have. And that will help you build your self-confidence. The other thing is acknowledge and celebrate your accomplishments. You've done a lot. It's been a great year for us here at the Gap. I mean, we started the podcast. Jason and I flew to Charlotte together and got this thing going. And I wasn't afraid that it was going to suck. And I know that it's been doing great. I just really, really want to let everybody know how much I appreciate your feedback. All the texts and the phone calls. Text me anytime and tell me you're listening to the Gap and you love it. My number's 317-590-7757, 317-590-7757. But another little exercise that I would encourage you to do is get a notepad and number it 1 through 10, and just the first 10 accomplishments, no matter how small they might be, that it's a gratitude list, right? That will build your self-confidence. That's the second way. Number 3 is to really set bold and realistic goals. If you were just listening to the Gap last month, Have a Big Goal, we had unbelievable guests that ooze self-confidence. And just listening to those podcasts, I can't imagine that the information that they were giving would not help your self-confidence and your belief in you. But big, bold, realistic goals, right? Goals pull you to who you are meant to become. And they're important. And people without goals are people without belief, right? And I think we talked about that in some of our other podcasts, is that, the dreams and the beliefs are the things that fuel us to move forward. And these are things that are tangible, that ooze out of people, especially people with attitude, especially with people who we call gappers. I'm not sure what your goals are, but I would hope you set 3 large, huge goals, and I promise you that's going to help you develop your self-belief. And, the next thing is basically self-belief is learnable. You were born with no sense of what you could or couldn't do. I mean, when it's all said and done, you don't know what you could do, and you didn't know what you couldn't do. And you really need to re-examine and discard many of the self-limiting beliefs that you hold about your ability. Like, are you able? What is your ability? And find out why you have the disbelief in the first place. Who put it there? A lot of times, look at our attitude coaches are our parents. We don't get to pick our attitude coaches. And Lord knows there are people every day that say, don't try that. Don't do this, right? Don't eat the candy. We're told no, I don't know, like 1,000 times a day when we're growing up. And self-belief really starts with early childhood development when it's all said and done. And most of us were told no, or you can't, or don't constantly as we're growing up. So when we talk about self-belief being learnable, what it really talks about, and we've got this coming up in our interviews, is really taking a self-inventory about how you think and how you feel. And how you think the way you feel, and how do you feel about the way you think. Creating a positive attitude, getting a positive attitude is not an easy thing to do. But I can tell you this, developing self-belief certainly is. A couple other things you might want to do is just develop your skills. Seek and you will find. Search for the answers on self-belief. There are skills that you can do. There are exercises you can do. There are mantras you can say about believing in yourself. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 more ways to develop your self-belief. Number 1, learn from those who have gone before you. That's number 5, have a mentor copy them. That'll be in 2 months. But there are people who believe in themselves. Call them up, take them to lunch, and ask them, how do you believe in yourself? What is it that makes you so confident? I'm pretty sure that most people are going to tell you, especially in the business sense, it is basically they develop their skills, they learn, and they study it. Okay, but what I want you to do is find a self-belief mentor. You can go into Google and put self-belief guru or YouTube videos on self-belief. What if you just did a self-belief video every day for the next 30 days? What would that do from you? Obviously, tuning into the podcast every Tuesday is going to help you believe in yourself, especially for our next 4 podcasts that are coming up. I want you to also think about creating a powerful vision. Where there is no vision, the people perish. What is your vision? Are you living your vision, or are you living someone else's vision? Vision is bigger than a goal. It's how you want to live your life. Vision is how you want to walk through this thing called life and how you want to impact others. What is your superpower? When people meet you, what are they saying right after they're done? Are they saying, oh my God, that guy is tragic? Are they saying, oh my gosh, that gal is so inspiring, I can't believe it? The bottom line is, if you don't feel you're a superhero and you don't feel like you have a superpower, chances are you lack self-belief. So as uncomfortable as it may be, as ridiculous as it may sound, finding your superpower and having your vision will certainly enhance your self-belief. And then the last thing, which I've already mentioned, is tune into this podcast every Tuesday for the next 4 weeks. And we're going to talk about believing in yourself. We're going to hear from 4 unbelievable guests that are going to give you their secrets, their insights, their answers. They're going to talk about their mentors on who helped them believe in themselves and what self-belief has done to them. I promise you it's going to be a fantastic journey for the next 4 episodes of The Gap. And I know that at the end of this journey, you are going to bridge the gap from one of self-doubt to one of self-fulfillment, one of self-belief and empowerment in yourself. This is Glenn Bill signing off for The Gap, looking forward to helping you build your self-confidence and working on attitude booster number 3, believe in you.